Hi, welcome to another of this random series of lives, which is going to be I don't have the mental bandwidth to condense any of my thoughts into real form, but I can just spraff in front of a camera for 5-10 minutes. The general idea of these lives is that I'm going to pick something that's maybe come up in a session with a client, come up in a conversation with somebody, come up maybe in chats with colleagues, and just kind of talk about it for 5-10 minutes. So last week I talked a little bit about the pressure that non-native speaking English teachers of English who don't speak English as a native language. Wow, that really fell apart on that, didn't I? Last week I spoke a little bit about the pressures that they're often putting themselves under and the kind of, I guess, the symptoms, for lack of a better word, that I'm often dealing with clients in our sessions. Today, going to be a slightly different topic. Today I'm talking about the power of the mindset shift that can occur, and I think should occur, when you're taking your emphasis away from English as like a language, English as a thing, to English as a tool. It's not the first time I've spoken about this on Instagram. If you've worked with me one-to-one, or you've been in any of my webinars over the years, like, this is something that comes up a lot. So today I just want to kind of quickly explain what I mean by it and why I think it's so important, and then I'll say goodbye. That's the plan. So English as a tool, refocusing your energy away from English as a thing to English as a tool. What I mean by this is that if you think about English in terms of the way that we were often taught languages, so the way that I learned Spanish and French in school, the way that you guys may have learned English is often within a kind of English is the goal. The goal of learning English is to get better at English. This looks like grammar tests, it looks like vocabulary tests, it looks like listening to a little extract from the radio and filling in the gap in the sentence with the word that you heard. It sounds like kind of studying a new grammar structure, but studying it so that you know the grammar structure. Where I think you should be focusing your attention, especially if you are, like all of my clients, kind of advanced and above, is shifting that to what is the purpose of this interaction in English. So you start actually looking at the kinds of goals that you would look at in your own language. Why am I in this meeting, for example? Why am I in this meeting with this other person? What's the purpose of that interaction? Okay, we are colleagues on the same team. We're trying to come up with ideas to solve a problem. We are, this is my client and I'm trying to update them on the process. They are somebody from, an opposing team. We're trying to negotiate some kind of outcome. Whatever it is that you are doing, those are obviously meeting contexts. Focus not on what language should I be using, what grammar structure should I be using, am I sounding advanced enough? All of those thoughts belong to the idea that English itself has some kind of inherent value. By focusing instead on the purpose of what it is that you're doing, you're letting go of those thoughts and instead going, okay, what do I actually need? What would be good enough English, if we ask to still hold on to that thought a little bit, in order for me to achieve my goals? So within a meeting sense, it might be, negotiating, coming up with a new idea, explaining, updating your clients, those kinds of functions. But in a social setting, it might be, I really want to have a good time. I want to let my hair down. I want to relax. Or it might be, I haven't seen this friend for a while. I know that they've just come back from holiday. I want to hear about their holiday and I want to, act interested and I want to show them that I care about them. If it's something slightly more passive, like reading a book or watching a movie, I want to understand 80-90% of it and I want to kind of laugh along and get the jokes. So by shifting that focus to what it is you actually want to do, what a lot of my clients realize very, very early on is that when that becomes the measure of success, they've already hit it. most of my clients, and this isn't of course going to be true for all of you, it isn't going to be true for everybody in every situation, but by the time you reach an advanced level-ish, chances are you can do all the things that you want to be able to do. You know, you can go into a meeting at work and get what you need from that. You can go into a conversation with a friend and get what you need to that. And by shifting that focus away from whatever preconceived ideas you have of what your English should sound like, or what being advanced means, or, you know, what improving means, by shifting your focus away from that and prioritizing what is it that I actually want to do in English, we're able to see that we can do a lot more than we think we can. And for a lot of my clients, not all of them, some of them, you know, still kind of want to improve English for different reasons, but a lot of them reach a stage in our work together where they realize something that perhaps I privately have thought since we met, which is they don't need to work on their English anymore. That incessant drive of like not feeling good enough, wanting to be better, blah blah blah, didn't come from a kind of calm, relaxed look around at everything that they're doing and realizing that they're failing and need to work harder. Instead, it just came from the way that they had been educated about English. I've just got a question. I feel demotivated because of AI. Is there any way out of it? Not my specialism. I don't know. In terms of English, AI is wonderful and has lots of advantages, but that's a distraction. I'm not going to talk about it today. So what the feeling of not feeling good enough, the feeling of like a constant need to improve, this feeling that there's some like objective goodness in this desire to get better and better and better, comes not from your experience of using English in your life, but rather from an experience of grammar tests and vocabulary tests and, oh good, you finished C1, now let's move on to C2. Have you done that exam? You paid your £250 for that qualification? Let's get you the next level. That is an industry that gets its money from you not feeling good enough, and it gets its money from going, how can we make the most out of these people? Okay, well, we could divide our course book into 5, but if we divided it into 6, we could get another, you know, X amount of money because we built this new product. Now, obviously that isn't necessarily from an individual, it isn't malice on an individual coursebook writer, an individual publisher's, you know, place, but it is the development of wider language teaching has been to divide it into these little sections, to say this kind of word belongs in a B1 level course. If you use that, it means you're B1. If you go, like, all of this stuff has no bearing on reality. It is all just part of this kind of industry that makes you feel crap about your English so that you spend more money. Shifting that focus to what you can do is an absolute game changer. So I guess if I were to leave you with any homework, I said this would be a quick video and I want it to be quick. If I were to leave you with any homework, it would be for the next couple of days or weeks. For some of you, you might need a little bit longer. You're not using English as regularly. As you go into every single situation that uses English, take a second to go, what is it that I actually need from this situation? Is this a social situation and I just want to have a good time and chat with my friend? Okay, cool. At the end of this session, at the end of this fun coffee with my friend, I'm going to have a quick reflection. Did I relax? Did I connect with my friend? Do I feel like I was a good friend in that social situation? Do I feel like they understood me and I understood them, not necessarily in terms of language, but as people? Cool. In which case, whatever I messed up on, whatever word I couldn't remember, whatever, you know, my negative voice in my head is saying, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, you sounded so basic. Whatever negative thoughts are happening, they are not related to the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation was, I went in, I connected with my pal, I had a good time. Tick, tick, tick. And you can do the same whether you're reading a book. I want to just, you know, I've got a 20-minute lunch break. I just want to decompress, read my book for a little bit and have a cup of tea. Did I do it? Yes. Fantastic. In which case, job done. So your homework, that's your homework for the next week or two, is just to reframe your goals in terms of what you're actually doing rather than in terms of the language that you're using. Do that. See if you notice any changes. Feel free to get in touch with me if you do. I would love to hear from you. That is my super quick and brief live over. Bye bye.